Welcome back, everybody, to In the Spotlight. We have a special episode with a very special guest today. My name is John Horton.
I'm Kyle Pierson, and today we have one of the stars celebrating the 40th anniversary of Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, and she's done quite a bit since then. Deborah Voorhees, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, Deborah. So glad to
Hey
have you
guys,
here.
thanks so much for having me.
Hey, it's our pleasure. You're a huge get for us. One of the most iconic film series of all time. It's celebrating its 40th anniversary. Oddly enough, we're also going to be interviewing somebody else who played a Tina from a movie that's 40th anniversary is this year as well. So all of a sudden, we've got these back-to-back stars. We are so glad to have you.
Thank you.
First of all, we know you get asked about Friday the 13th a lot. So we're going to
Yes.
try to delve into some areas that you may not normally get into.
Okay.
And I would like, first of all, you are a writer, you're an actress, you're a director, you're a journalist. Where is your happy place, and what of those proved to be the most challenging to you?
Okay. I love directing. I love producing. Um, there's something in me that just loves to be in charge and the boss and orchestrating everything and people doing what I tell them to. It's such a great feeling. Um, I love making all different kinds of movies. Horror movies have kind of a special place in my heart. My favorite horror movies are like creature features, which is one I really want to do a creature feature, which I've kind of done that now, which I'll tell you about here in a minute. But I, you know, there's something about making a slasher that when you're coming up with these kills, they're so much fun to do because you're like a bunch of kids in the backyard playing in all the goo and the, supposed blood, and nothing scary is going on and everybody's laughing and having a good time. And it's just, you're a bunch of kids that, can't stop being kids, you know? So that to me is really beautiful. I love the time when I'm by myself and I write, when I wrote 13 Fanboy, um, I just kept thinking about what would scare me, what would scare me. And there's a film that I rewrote that's being done up in Portland right now, and it's a very, very serious film, a spoof on the old Universal monster movie. So it's going to be in black and white, and it's called
Oh.
Attack of the Nazi Werewolves from the Moon. As you can tell, very serious, extremely
Sounds like a
serious film here.
tearjerker.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yes,
have the tissues nearby because you'll
right.
laugh, you'll cry.
That's right. It'll all come out. But, for that one, I reached into my inner 8-year-old and the rewrite to come up with, and my 8-year-old had the best time rewriting that. It
Oh,
it
really? Oh,
it is
okay.
like the most goofy, off the wall. Check your brain at the door. Don't even consider bringing a brain to this thing. You could get an aneurysm.
And then you said you haven't started working on this yet?
No, I have. It's I'm in the producing seat for this one and
Okay.
writing seat, producing and writing. And my Troy Elke is a writer on it as well, and he's doing the directing, and I'm a creative producer and I'll be doing some editing as well. So I'll be meshing some stuff together, but it's looking good.
When do you expect it to be released?
So 2026 is what I know now. Yeah. But that's a creature feature, but I want to do Frankenstein. I love Frankenstein.
I
But I
guess
want
it is.
everything from his perspective. I want it to be like a first person movie because Frankenstein is just completely an engrossing character. I was a teacher too, and I taught Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And it was kind of, that was created back in the days before novels really had, kind of like a blueprint for how to do them. And she wrote it from 3 different perspectives, and not like the same thing, like completely different parts. And honestly, the start and the ending doesn't work at all. But in
Really?
the middle, when it's from first person monster, from the monster's perspective, it is some of the most brilliant writing you'll ever see. And of course, it'll need more than what's just in the text to make the full movie, because there's not enough in there to take you through the whole Frankenstein story. But that's what I want to write. That's what I want to film.
Is that in the public domain at this point,
Oh
or
yeah, it's for a
okay?
long time, because that was done in
That's
the
what I figured,
1800s.
because like
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro, I think, is doing one right now, and yeah,
Yeah.
every few years we have a new Frankenstein, and I'm
It
always kind of
always is, but I've never been happy with them.
I agree. I think after all of these years and all these incarnations, the original is still my favorite.
Yep.
And yeah, I would like to see someone do, some justice to it in a modern era with
Mhm.
modern technology. So you're the one to do it. So let's see
There
it.
you go. And werewolves. I love werewolves. Well, obviously, Attack of the Nazi Werewolves. What could be better than werewolves? Nazi werewolves. And then what could be better than Nazi werewolves? Nazi werewolves from the moon.
That's true. That's true. And I'm go and in today's culture, I'm just going to quickly ask this question just to verify. The Nazis are the bad guys, right?
Yes, that's why it's the
Okay.
attack of.
Okay, good. I just wanted to verify that in case
Yeah.
there's a question. So yes. All
Yeah.
right,
If
fantastic.
anybody's confused out there, we can get you help.
Yeah.
Key word in answer to cut your question, Kyle, is the word attack.
Yeah.
Attack of the Nazi werewolf.
That's true. Okay.
Werewolves
All right.
usually are a bad thing. Nazis are a bad thing, and attack is a bad thing. You put them all 3 together, I'm pretty sure people will be pretty clear. But Kyle, you could be right. There could be someone out there.
There's somebody like, well, but wait a minute. I'm like, no, I just want to verify.
Moon people aren't necessarily bad.
That's right.
Exactly.
Moon people, see, I didn't include moon in there because moon people could be very good.
That's right. And they just got to deal with these damn werewolves that keep running around,
That's
Nazi
right.
werewolves. And they're
they
like,
came and
man,
took over their moon.
yeah, exactly. Is there anybody from Earth that can help us out on the moon? I am. This is one of the most bizarre titles that I'm looking forward to. This is the type of thing that John back in the day used to present to me, and I'm like, what are you talking about? But this really sounds fun.
No, it's out there. We laid into the cheese. We didn't spare anything.
Very good, very good. And besides this, you have also done, I mean, you're known for horror movies, but you've also got a lot of Shakespeare in you, from what I understand.
I do.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, if I was back in Shakespeare's day, I'd probably be a shameless groupie, following them everywhere. So Shakespeare, hi. Yeah, he's beautiful. I mean, that's why I wrote Billy Shakespeare. And Billy Shakespeare is a kind of a what if comedy. What if Shakespeare never existed until now? How would he be received by Hollywood? Well, he's too wordy, apparently. But today he's still one of the most popular playwrights and screenwriters in Hollywood. But if he were to have come in today and tried to present this work, they never would have accepted it. It would have been way too much for them. They accept it because there's kind of this air of respectability, this air of quality that comes with Shakespeare's work, and people like to be associated with it. I fell in love with him after I came back from Hollywood. I went to college and got my degree in journalism, and I started covering theater. And after watching a couple of the plays, I really loved it. And so I got a big book about like this of complete works of Shakespeare. I opened it up and put it in my lap and turned to page 1 and didn't start till I got to the last page.
Holy cow.
I know. And
Wow.
what I was so excited about, by the time I got to the 5th play, I was reading as fast as I could read any kind of, works out there. And so I'm just like breezing through this, and I was like, I felt like, oh, by George, I've got it. I've got it. My goodness, I've got it. I understand him. So yeah, I do. I love Shakespeare. So I did that one, and I worked with a guy. His name is Devon Glover. He's a rapper from Brooklyn. And we did a handful of music videos together, and I went with him to England and filmed him over there. We had hip hop Hamlet in the Kenneth Branagh Film Festival in Stratford upon Avon. And it also played at the same weekend, so I couldn't be for both, in Denmark. And if you remember,
Wow.
Hamlet was set at the Denmark Castle.
Wow.
And that's where it was shown. And that was shown,
Wow.
and I
And you
had
couldn't make
another
that?
Shakespeare piece that was shown there too. It was Goodnight, My Sweet, and Othello. It's the final scene in Othello. It was a short. I was reading Othello, and I realized that the villain, Iago, was a woman, not a man.
See, I didn't know that
And there's
at
some
all.
text in
And that's one of the
there.
things I should have known.
Yeah, now, of course, it says male, but I'm sorry, it was a
Oh, okay.
female.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. All right.
And
Explain.
so I just decided that the whole text would ring a completely different way if you had a woman playing it. So
Oh,
I
okay.
took and I had Iago be a ghost and like talking in Othello's ear about his saying that his wife was cheating on him, which Iago, of course, was trying to convince him of that, not for any other reason than he wanted to hurt him, because she was innocent. She was
Hmm.
completely innocent. And so, yeah, my little short, it's a little ghost story with a female Iago. And I was talking to a professor of Shakespeare, and I told him my theory about Iago would be better as a woman. And he immediately knew the scene and knew why I was making this claim. And he was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He goes, I'm directing Othello this year. He says, I may just make Iago female
Well, you,
because
you
of
may
it.
have just set a whole new course. You might have started a new theme that people start doing.
I
That
know.
that
I
would be
know.
cool. That would be
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, that's the thing because too many. It seemed like back in the old days, when people remade stuff, it was pretty much the exact same thing we had saw before, except maybe in color,
Right.
or maybe and it hasn't been until recently that now when they do a remakes, that's why I guess they call them reboots or retellings or whatever.
Hmm.
Now we have a whole new version. I'm like, okay, you're not messing with the
Right.
original one because that one still exists. Now we've got a
Right.
new one, and let's see where this goes. And yeah,
Right.
I'm all for that. And it also piques our interest for the original. So we can watch that one, get it, say, oh, how
Exactly.
does that differ from the original? So where
Yep.
can we see these? Are they available anywhere?
I've got to look and see if anything's still up online. I think most of them you can find. I mean, Billy Shakespeare is on Amazon, but my shorts, I'm pretty sure they're still up on YouTube.
Okay, one thing we'll
It's been a
do
while
is
since I've looked.
yeah, one thing John and I do is because we also post this, we post it on YouTube in a couple places, we do it Facebook in a couple places, but everywhere we post it, we put links to all of your stuff. So we will do some searches and
Okay.
try to find it, and then if you go to
Okay.
the description below, you can see all these videos and movies that she's made. So
Okay.
So we will do that for you.
Thank
I am
you.
interested in this Billy Shakespeare. I've never been big on Shakespeare. I'm a little bit too primal for intelligent thought like that and refined thinking. But having William Shakespeare in today's era, that might be
Mhm.
up my alley.
I do think it's fun. I had him speaking the Shakespearean language, but I softened it so it's a little, I think it's easy to understand. But I made it where he was obsessed with the that period. It obviously wouldn't be considered Shakespearean period, but the next one in line was Christopher Marlowe. So that was his idol, was Christopher Marlowe, who couldn't hold a candle to the bard.
So you talk about taking William Shakespeare and bringing him into a new era. It's just been announced, I guess, that Friday the 13th is going to be coming back. Not just the prequel series Crystal Lake, but I guess they have a new Friday the 13th movie, and I guess it may be another reboot.
Okay.
If you took Friday the 13th Part 5
Uh-huh.
and you made it now 40 years later and you were directing it, how
Mm-hmm.
would it differ from the film that you were in?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, I'll tell you exactly what it would be. It would still have really great kills, even better. And but I would make it more of like a Hitchcockian mystery with the slasher.
Oh, because it's not
So,
Jason. So you're trying to figure
right,
out
it's
who it
not
is.
Jason. And so what ended up happening? Okay, we have this guy right at the beginning and he hacks up this kid and we have him immediately arrested and taken away. Come on, people.
Mhm.
What is the
Yeah.
mystery in that? There's no
Hmm.
mystery there. Let him
Hmm.
escape. Let us wonder who's out there, who's doing the killing. Um, you know, uh, I really liked the way that John Shepherd played Tommy. He had this real nice moodiness, which I think would fit in really well with my more Hitchcockian approach to it. Um, so I probably would keep a lot of that element in there. Um, but yeah, I would really want to. That would be so fun to do. Can't you imagine it in a Hitchcockian style? Probably, I probably wouldn't have done the ambulance driver.
As long as Tina's death scene is the same, because that's one of my
Okay.
favorite death scenes of all time. And even when we were gonna have you on the first time, and it unfortunately fell through, I had the image of you with the things coming down, and it said, "Keep an eye out for our interview with Deborah Voorhees." So I love that death scene. So don't touch that.
Okay,
Um,
we'll leave that.
so in the
I
new
don't know who we
beginning,
could find to play me though.
you
Exactly.
can still
That
do
was
it.
going to be my question. Who would play your
Yeah, who
role?
would be you if it wasn't you? Which I think you still could do it. But who today? Who would you pick?
I have no idea. I'd really have to get out there and look. Because I know the fans, I think that it'll need to be somebody who looks enough like me that they feel like it could be me,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
right. Yeah, because that's an iconic scene altogether.
Yes.
So so
I've heard
um
more than one person's tape is broken in that spot several times. Rewind, rewind, rewind.
John,
Hey, hey,
uh,
that's getting edited out.
yeah, I was gonna say I wasn't gonna go there.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
Um, let's jump to another subject, shall
Well,
we?
before you do, I want to just pitch this real quick.
Okay.
Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. Who is Jason? At the end, we find out it's Ethel.
Oh, actually, that
That-
would be really good.
I did say I love, and I won't say if
That
people
could
haven't seen
work.
it,
That
but
could work.
you have a twist in
But I would
13
definitely
Fanboy.
have to make her a suspect because I mean she's so mad at the whole place. Why wouldn't it be her?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
right?
And as crazy as you've got, there's some crazy characters in Friday the 13th 5, but I did
Hmm.
recently I saw them all again in order. And to be honest, even though Jason isn't in this,
Right.
it's the most realistic movie in the entire series. You don't have anyone coming back from the dead. You don't have telekinesis. You're not going to space. It is cut and dry slasher film, realistic with some eccentric characters in it, but it
Right,
really is the most believable film in the entire
right.
franchise. You don't have a
One
kid that's
thing
been
that's
around for years popping up at the end.
right. This is one thing that's kind of interesting too, is that part five is more true to the original because it's a bereaved parent
Yeah.
who's the killer. And so, and of course, in ours, we do have the flashback to Jason.
Yeah, yeah,
So
you still fit
Jason
them in
is in
there.
there.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
still fit them in there. But
right.
uh but yeah, it's just
And there's the question, of course, is he, did he come back from the dead? Because, if you've come back once, why can't you come back two, three, four, five? Who knows how many
yeah,
times,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, later on, they kind of established the fact or hinted the fact that he's a deadite from Evil Dead because there's a Necronomicon in his mother's house. And so I'm like, okay, you can explain all of this if you need to, to explain it all. But yeah, if you're just
Right,
sitting there and watching, just a slasher film, a five is the way to go, and you don't have to really extend your imagination as much as you have to when a lightning bolt to a metal rod in his chest is,
right.
or all these bizarre things that keep happening. So yeah,
Mhm.
when I went back and I was watching that, I'm like, oh, I didn't catch that the first time around. But yeah, there's some
Right.
bizarre stuff. But yeah, I really like that.
I have always loved and been a fan, and that's been my favorite out of the entire series is part five because of the eccentric characters. I mean, from Junior
Yeah.
and Ethel to the two greaser guys with their car broke down.
Yep.
Every bit, and I really wish the series would have continued along that time, not timeline, but
Right.
that line.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and do you know if that maybe was the discussion originally? Was okay, this is
It
where
was.
we're gonna go. It was okay.
Yes, it
All
was the
right.
original discussion. And but when there was a bit of a backlash on it, they decided that they're gonna go with back to Jason. Now, I'm still, I've had other castmates tell me they experienced negative backlash from it, but I was really surprised by that because after, of course, the first time I saw it at the actual screening. Well, that's not a real audience. That's people in the industry, right? So I decided I wanted to see how the fans were actually reacting. And so I found a corner seat in the theater and went and just sat there and watched. And mostly guys with their friends and the jump scares come and what happens when a bunch of guys are together and there's a jump scare, they're going to immediately start laughing because it's like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, I can't believe they just got me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's this play and it's kind of like the horror movies like this are like these popcorn slasher movies, where popcorn's kind of flying, on
Mm-hmm.
those jump scares. um, so I didn't see a single person care about the reveal.
Yeah,
And yet I hear it and I feel like it was a very small vocal minority that was actually upset about it. But then the more they talk, then they get other people involved and they're getting upset then and they're getting upset. And I'm just sitting there going, Is this really worth your time?"
well, I
You
think it's
know,
worse. It's worse
it's just
now
a
because of
good
social media
fun.
because people just I guess feel that they want to be accepted, and
Yeah.
it's like okay, or controversial because I
Yep.
can't remember what it was, but I remember somebody making a comment about some movie. and how good it was. And every comment was trashing it, saying, you don't know what you're talking about. But then on another day, I saw somebody post, man, this movie's a piece of crap. And then every comment was defending it and how good it was. I'm like, see,
Yeah.
I think people just, and now with bots, I mean, they're literally bots that are, you make money on reaction to your comment. So people are just putting
Right.
out anything to get, a comment. But I thought about that at the time because I'm like, okay, our big question was the fact that, okay, Jason, that they put his mask on the cover. So you're assuming that it must be Jason. And then it's not Jason. So people are upset because they want Jason. But at the same time, again, I think this was more realistic than it would be if it had Jason in it.
Right.
And I think again, it's another one of those things where people just kind of, okay, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and because it seems like I'm in a lot of movies where people are applauding, laughing, having a good time, and then I go online and they're like, oh, this was awful, and I'm like, really, really, because that's not how I felt when I was in the theater,
Right.
and so yeah, I think, and now at the very least, all these years later, instead of maybe people waiting 2 years for another Jason movie, and here we go. And okay, I'm hoping that it's going to end this way. Nope, it ended that way. Screw the whole movie. Then I'm upset. Now people are
Right.
looking at all of them in a box set, and it's just one chapter after another, and it just all blends in. So I think now,
Right.
if anything, it's probably way more widely accepted now than it was then. Just because they're like,
Right.
okay, this is what Friday the 13th. This is the story and this is one of the chapters in it that
Right.
deviate. Plus,
I
we have this
agree.
scene. Plus, we have your scene right there. That breaks tapes. So you can't tell me that people aren't watching your movie over and over again, obviously.
Right.
So,
At least part of it.
at least part of it.
That means it's selling.
That's right.
If I could just have $1 for every time a guy looked at my boobs, I could be in really good shape. Y'all can figure out how to collect on this for me. I want $1 for each, one each, because
Yeah.
I think that, it's worth at least $2. So
So,
Okay,
just
so
what's your
you're
figuring
cash
how to
app? I'll
collect.
send you. I'll send you some right now. Oh, we'll do that. We'll edit that part out too.
yeah. No. That's that part's staying in. That that part's staying in. So I'm assuming now you're also saying you're not seeing any residuals from Friday the 13th. Is that correct?
Oh no, there's definitely residuals. Yeah.
Oh,
And
you are?
plus,
Okay.
in the horror conventions, I'm just looking for it to enact a booby tax.
Yeah. There should be such a thing. There really
No.
should because, you're putting yourself out there more than any of the other actors. And there should be some compensation for that. And as
There
you're
you go.
saying, people are watching it. A lot of people are watching it specifically for you. So, come on, where's your cheddar? So, no, that
Oh
makes,
yeah.
I mean, when they have a
I just need to
website,
get a bill through government that says there's a booby tax on the movie, and I'll be making it out, make out really well.
when there's a website dedicated to want to see this actress naked, go here's a clip of her. Want to see that?
Okay,
Don't
that's
look
a
at
good
me like you don't know
question.
what I'm talking about, Kyle. You know damn well
Yeah,
about
yeah. Just from what you send me. Um, um, well, that actually is a good point because there are websites out there that take your scenes out of the movie and then they're putting it on
Right.
their site and they're making a fortune off of you. Do
Hey,
you get any of
can I
that?
get some? No, can I get some of
See,
that?
see, exactly. That should be something that you're getting compensated for, unless you can go
Right.
on and maybe pull it. I don't know if you have the authority
I
to
would
pull it if you
imagine
wanted to.
that since it was Paramount would probably be the one to
Yeah,
pull it, but
they don't seem
hopefully
to
they're
be.
not making more money because if so, my
Yeah,
residuals
yeah,
are
yeah.
bad because I'm pretty
Look
sure I'm
into
not getting
that.
that.
Look into that. Well, we're running out of time. Actually, I think we're a little over time, but did you have time
Okay,
for one more question?
sure.
Okay. You were a journalist and you covered, schizophrenia. You crossed the border illegally for a story. Um, what kind of scares may you have witnessed as a journalist that would anyway be as frightening as what you dealt with in horror films?
There's something funny about being a journalist. I was a print journalist, so you have your little notepad and you have your pen and you're sitting there like this taking notes. And there's something about that you feel kind of invincible.
Really?
I'm protected. I have pen and paper. Don't mind me.
I mean, you're going,
Mhm.
you're doing some, what seems to me like dangerous stuff, and our people may have confronted, politicians or something, but I'm like, wow, you
Mhm.
got to have a certain level of, balls, should I say, to be able to do that.
Memories.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There we go. So from my aspect, I was like, okay, I'm sitting in a chair doing nothing but, putting their stuff together. So I've always been interested in what it takes to, where your mind is when you go into these situations where it could be
Well, I'll
dangerous.
tell you a couple times that I think a normal person might have felt a little trepidation. This was a homeless guy I was looking for, and I was just looking to do a story on him because he had some works of art. He was a folk artist in galleries and museums and stuff, and different people had tried to get him off the street, but he just wasn't cognitively capable of living in that way. He didn't want that structure of the building around him. And so I went to several homeless shelters and asked different homeless people on the street about him. And finally, I was told that he was doing his artwork in the back alley behind a gallery. And so I went into this back alley and he pulled a knife on me,
Oh.
but I had my paper and my pen. Oh, and not to mention I had my credentials. And I just said, hi, I'm Deborah Voorhees with the Dallas Morning News, and I am interested in interviewing you. And he goes, oh, I heard you were looking for me. And he said you should be careful coming up on somebody, could get cut. And then I sat down and interviewed him. And I
Wow.
The
didn't
pen
for
is mightier than the sword.
I wasn't afraid of him at all. And I wasn't even afraid when he pulled the knife on me because I really didn't think he was sincere about it. There was nothing about him that made me feel like he was a threat. He was scared, and I scared him. I'm not sure why, because I was actually at quite a, bit of a distance. It's not like I came around a corner up on him or anything. But, he lives on the street, so probably anything kind of makes him feel a little nervous. And so, yeah, but somebody might have been nervous going into all the different homeless shelters and things like that, but I wasn't. It didn't bother me. I guess the only there are two times when I was actually covering police, which I didn't do that for very long. I went over into arts and entertainment pretty quickly. But I was the one to tell two different people. Well, one was a woman had had a birthday party for her teenager, and one of the kids leaving was shot.
Oh.
And I was interviewing her, and I ended up being the first person to tell her that the kid had passed away, and that was very traumatic. So it wasn't it was a little bit scary being just knowing that somebody died, in such a violent way. But it was mostly, just kind of really hurts your heart when you see somebody in so much pain, because that has to be really difficult, even though it's not in any way, shape, or form her fault. But this was still a child at her kid's party, and it was very painful for her. On another situation, once again, and this was more heart-rending, there wasn't any fear involved other than, you know, I had to call because there was I needed to do a story on a 2-year-old that had died and was been run over by a vehicle, and calling the parents. And so that was just more of just, you know, you hurt for the people. And so what I kind of determined that I wanted to do was to tell who this little child was. And so my questions were more about, you know, what did the child like? What did the child do? How was the child? And I just wrote about the beauty of this little being that had been in their life for far too short of a time. And it felt initially so invasive calling and talking to him at that moment. I didn't ask a stupid question like, oh, you know, how do you feel? That's a dumb question to ask in these types of situations. And family ended up calling me and thanking me because it was more of a kind of a loving tribute to their child.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that was, those two are very difficult because of that's, you know, but it's a heart thing.
Yeah. Is that why you got out of it? Was it just
Well,
too
like,
emotionally?
no, it wasn't so much that, but there's good opening in the arts and entertainment department. I liked the idea of writing about some interesting artists, and I did all different kinds of things. And, you know, I basically spent more than a decade going to museums, galleries, theater, stage theater, to, I mean, just, you know, going to listen to symphonies, opera. It was a
So
really
it definitely
blessed
sounds a
life.
lot more fun. I mean, it's
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a
If you're
really
going
blessed
from
life.
something that tragic to yeah, I'm going to
Hmm.
go to musicals and plays and stuff. Yeah,
Right.
I would make that transition myself. So
Yeah. And then I just met some really interesting people. I really liked the story about that artist that was doing something a little different, like the homeless artist. I loved that piece. Or the guy who's schizophrenic from at the Austin mental hospital. And he had killed his grandmother, is what ended up landing him in there. And trying to interview him because to get just a basic answer, you had to be very patient. It could take him 4 hours to get to your question.
wow.
And so it was like this, and you just had to sit and be patient. And I waited for him, but sure enough, he'd come back and he'd get that answer in.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
You've had quite the life. You've
Yeah.
you've explored a lot of different areas, and that's wow. Yeah, there's so much more to you that we would love to explore, but
Then
yeah, we've already taken up so much of your time, and I apologize for
Yeah.
running long.
Well,
Um,
I do want to say I appreciate you asking some really thoughtful questions. If you want to take a little bit more time, I don't mind. It's typically very similar, same questions that anybody can find out there, but you've actually put some thought into it, and so I really don't mind if you have a couple more
oh,
that you want to
oh
ask.
yeah. No, yeah, we're we're definitely. I've been talking a lot. Do you have a question, John? I'm
I
sorry.
was going to devolve into all the things that everyone else had. I don't want to screw this up, man. I was going
Okay.
to go back to the directing portion.
Hmm.
Coming from an actress to the directorial spot, what
Hmm.
have you taken from previous directors that you say, yeah, I'm going to be a director and I'm going to do that, or I'm not going to act like that or do that or whatever?
I can't really say that I took something from anybody else. But instead, I just tried to, um, I really don't think anybody belongs directing if they haven't been in front of the camera. And I don't mean an extra, but you know, you have to speak and walk and talk at the same time. And it just informs you so much about what the actor's going through, what they need from you. So what I took away from this, and this is how I work every time I'm working with someone, is straight out of the gate, unless they beg me to do it otherwise, which I will accommodate my actors. The first thing I do is nothing except watch what they're bringing to the table. And if it is what I want, which sometimes it happens that we're just on the same page, of course I go with that. If they bring me something I like better, we go with that. If they bring me something that's pretty close to what I wanted, but it worked really well, I typically go with it. Now, if it's completely not in the wrong space, then that's when I'm going to start massaging and working with the actor. And so being an actress first before directing, I brought in an automatic respect for the actor and knowing what they needed. And I did have one director who was particularly gruff, and that wasn't on Friday the 13th. It didn't actually bother me. I really didn't. I thought he was kind of like silly and ridiculous. So I just kind of like, you know, I just kept doing my job. You know, this is my job. I know what to do. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. You're nervous and upset for some reason, but we'll let you do your thing. It makes you feel better. But you know, I decided that wasn't what I wanted to do. Now here's something though that was interesting though, is in one film I was in, and it was the first time really that, well, no, the first, I guess, the first scenes I was in Dallas, the TV show Dallas. But this was, I guess, technically the first film. And there was one particular scene, and I was feeling a little bit nervous. And I was much younger than my partner, and he'd been acting for many, many years. And he just grabbed a lemon and bit into it and then spit out a sea like that while I'm supposed to be like flirting with them. And so all I could do is, you know, I just couldn't help but just have this big smile, which is what I kind of needed to do because I'm supposed to be flirting with him. And so I took a lot from that because I was like, okay, how beautiful is that? As an actor, I try and talk to my actors like, you're there to support each other and help each other. If somebody's having a hard time getting to where they're going, you know, do something to surprise them that helps them get there. And there's been a couple times when I had people who couldn't act, that were not good at all. And I was able to use that to get them there, to use something that would, you know, I needed a kid one time to get really angry and I wasn't getting anything from him. So I pissed him off. Now, mind you, I told him before that, you know, if that happened, you know, and it's, you know, we'll just hug it out, but I may do something, but I'm there to help you be the best actor you can be. And so he knew what I was doing, but he was having a hard time because he was still really pissed off. I mean, but then he did a great job, and then I hugged him, and we were fine.
That's good because I actually had a similar situation. I was playing an extra on a television show, and I'm called the father of unruly kids, and the kids weren't being unruly. So I'm like, just pretend like you're on a roller coaster and be moving around. And then I did my scene, and I'm like, stop it! And I scared the crap out of these kids, and I'm like, And I'm like, I'm sorry, it was for the thing. It's okay, it's okay. And I'm like, I should have prefaced that I was going to do that before we actually did that. So yeah, you went about it a much wiser way than I did.
No, actually, I think for that situation, it's better to get them off guard.
Oh, okay. Oh well,
Yeah,
thank
because
you.
I mean, you're from the acting perspective. You had to respond in an aggressive manner, and they needed to respond in a way that they're like, "Oh, dead, I'm in trouble." You know, that's okay.
So Deborah's saying it's cool to terrorize kids on a set. So
Yeah,
if that's what you need, that's what you get.
what you
Um,
need.
so you were on like a set. IMDb anyway has you listed as for 7 episodes of Dallas.
Hmm.
What was that like? Because that is such an iconic show that every few
Hmm.
years they bring it back in either a TV movie. They had another series for a while.
Yeah,
Who all did you get to work with, and how was that?
everybody, the whole cast.
Everybody,
Yeah.
Hagman, the whole group.
I was worked behind the camera as well as a stand-in for all of the brunettes.
Oh,
And
okay.
so like Linda Gray and well, Victoria, everybody, anybody who was brunette. And it was a lot of fun. I liked working behind the scenes more than in front of the camera.
Really?
Because you're a part of the family, you're part of the group. When I would come on set, uh, the Larry Hagman, when I would come on set, he would sing that song, the song about oh God, now I don't even know, can't remember it's Susie something, but he would sing Debi Sue, I love you, and singing that
Pretty, pretty,
song.
pretty, pretty. Is that the one? Oh no, that's
It's
Peggy.
a it's the
It's a
one
different. It's a
that's
different Sue.
it's a oh, it's the Peggy
Oh, it
Sue
is Peggy Sue. Okay, Peggy
song.
Sue.
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty, pretty,
yeah.
pretty, pretty. Yeah. Okay.
And so he would do Debi Sue, I love you to that song when I would come on the set. And he was actually the first one when he learned my middle name was Sue and or is Sue. And I got that because I was a Playboy Bunny and you could only have one bunny at the club with that name. And I was using Debbie at the time. And so they had a Debbie, they had a Deborah. And so I went with, well, do you Sue? Because a lot of people call me Debi Sue because, I was from Texas. What do you think is
Hmm.
going to happen?
That's true.
Debi Sue. And so he started calling me Debi Sue on set. So then, my role ended up being Debi Sue, even though it was in the credits, it was said differently because it was actually different characters, but he just started calling me Debi Sue on film. So,
And he's a nicer guy in person than he portrayed on camera, I would
oh,
hope,
he's a really
because he
nice
was
guy.
such an ass in that role, which made
No,
him so perfect for it. And I'm
yeah, but
like,
no, it wasn't anything at all like that. Really nice guy. Really
well.
nice guy.
And what can you tell us about Riptide? That was one of my favorite shows as a kid. I loved Riptide. And yeah, I used to watch it every week, and I was upset when it got canceled. And I'm like, "What? Where's
Yeah.
my Riptide?" How involved were you with that program?
Well, it was just the one show, but I have to say it is by far my favorite because it was just silly comedic and I felt like it showed I was probably should have been a rom-com girl. You know? And I think I would have fit that role very well and I would have really enjoyed that because I shamelessly love romantic comedies, and I do not care that it's a happy ending all the time. In fact, it damn well better be here. I'm going to be upset.
Well, we did I think one of our first episodes when we started doing this, I think it was Valentine's Day. So we said, okay, here's
Mhm.
rom-coms that guys would like. So we were, picking some, and I'm like, these get a bad rap, but there's a lot of these that are really good, and we
Yeah.
enjoy them. And they've got to have a little more to them than the same formula, because a lot of them, yeah, they do
Right.
have the same formula.
Hmm.
Hallmark. I've
Right.
watched a few of those with my wife, and I'm like, okay, all right, okay. But yeah, when they can
Yeah.
mix it up at all, and you get some good performers in there,
Yeah.
yeah, they can be dynamite. They can be just as fun as anything else. So yeah, I would
Right.
love to see
I
that.
agree. I love them.
So what do you have coming up? We know you've got your Nazi werewolf moon movie. What
Right.
else do you have
Heck,
coming up, either film wise or convention appearances? What's on your plate in the coming months?
I have several things that I'm working on. I'm looking at another slasher. I'm raising money for it. If anybody knows any investors, send them my way, please.
Are you doing like an
Um,
Indiegogo or anything for that, or is it just
I don't know that I'll do that. I'll probably stick with straight investors.
okay?
So, and then I have a thriller, and it's called I Remember Me. And it's about a little girl who has reincarnated. And
Ooh,
it's a very exciting thriller. And
I love the
then
title. That
yeah.
title is awesome.
thank you. Thank you. And
That's one of the
then
few titles that really grabs you from the beginning. You're like, oh, that's something. If I'm going through Tubi, I'd stop and say, wait a minute, let me check that
yeah.
out. Nice.
Well, it's fun because it's this little girl, she starts doing drawings, and she's telling her mother that these are pictures of her other family from another time and place. And her mom, and particularly the dad, really thinks it's like an imaginary friend kind of thing. Something just feels too real to the mom. And she starts investigating and finds that her memories are aligning with a child that went missing 45 years ago.
Wow.
And his name was, well, I won't get too much into it, but let's just say that they end up face to face with the same killer.
Oh,
This sounds really
Yeah,
wow.
good.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's a
It's
genuine
intense.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an intense one. And that one
Okay.
I'm raising funds for too. I'm raising funds for everything. And then the other thing I'm working on is a 12-part documentary
Ooh.
on Billy the Kid, and it's called The Hunt for the Real Billy the Kid. And as you know, there have been men across time who have claimed to be Billy the Kid.
Hmm.
Most of them you can immediately X them off as, yeah, no, you weren't. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm still trying to figure out how we're getting a Young Guns 3, to be honest. But
Right.
apparently it's coming. So I'm like, okay.
Well, I have modern day detectives, forensic experts, DNA analysis, analyzing, and
Wow.
we're working toward having that definitive answer. And so it's a 12-part documentary. We're going to be doing lots of flashbacks, the reenactments,
Hmm.
and then the detectives will explain why that's not possible. And so that one is very exciting too. That's actually probably the best money maker because he's an international star. Billy the Kid is,
Wow.
you
And
know.
your
So,
your production company is in Santa Fe, correct? Or
yes.
near Santa Fe? Yeah, because
Near. Yeah.
I lived in El Paso. I worked
Oh.
in Las Cruces at New Mexico State University, and then I did a lot of extra work in Albuquerque and Santa Fe for Longmire and Better Call Saul and all these shows. And then
Oh,
I
neat.
leave, and then you're in there, and you're knocking all these movies out now, and I'm like, well, crap, I should I should have stayed.
You moved too soon.
I
I moved too soon. I'm like, no. Um,
I used to
but you
live in
had,
El Paso.
oh, did you? Okay. When was that?
Yes, I grew up there for, I guess, let's see, I left about when I was 8. Yeah, when I
Okay.
was
Yeah,
8. But my father still lived there. My parents divorced. My father was still there. And so I still went back quite a bit. So I'm very familiar with both El Paso and Las Cruces.
Wow,
So
yeah, because I
we're
started in
like this
Michigan.
now. We're
Yeah, there
this.
we go. I mean, we're getting closer all the time.
I
And I've got your
know.
signature. I got your signature on that picture. I've got your 13 fanboy. That's autographed. I've got
Nice.
a hat back there. You autographed that. Um, Genuinely big fan. And
Yeah.
I yeah, this is a big moment for both of us because yeah, we've been fans for 40 years. This is
Oh yeah.
incredible. So what about conventions? Are you going to be signing any more autographs anywhere soon?
I do some here and there. I have so much going on. I turn most of them down. But I do have, I think I'm gonna be in San Antonio for a showing of 13 Fanboy. In I believe it's January.
Because that's where I am
Um,
now, is San
uh,
Antonio. That's where I am now.
you're in San Antonio.
Yeah, because I was in Michigan, moved to El Paso, worked in New Mexico, and now I'm in San Antonio. So you're coming back.
Hi, I'm your stalker.
Apparently, well, one of us is stalking the other one. I'm not sure which one's doing it to who, but so you're
It's
coming
kind of
back to
looking suspicious at this point.
it's my wife's going to start raising an eyebrow.
You
If
tell
this
her she
continue,
should beware because apparently
exactly.
I'm up to no good.
No, no. It's probably already not good. I have this picture on my wall. Uh, um, and I gotta say, when you do these signatures, you couldn't be nicer because that's why I felt comfortable enough to ask you to do this interview in the first place. Because we met at this, it was a small convention in a mall, and we talked, and you were trying to autograph the hat, and it wasn't coming out good, so you gave me the picture for free. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you were so nice, and we talked for so long, and my wife was like, oh my God, she is so sweet. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm like, none of these. Um, uh Horror, this horror community is not portrayed on camera the way they are in real life because that
Right,
you watch everybody and then their characters are either killing people, being killed, stuck up, pompous,
right.
there, and then there's always one nice one that survives to the end. um but when you meet them in
They're
person,
awesome.
awesome. All of it. I
Yeah.
mean,
Amazing.
yeah. Yeah. I don't think we've met anybody yet that we were like, oh, well, I wish I hadn't wasted time on that person. We're always
Right.
so surprised when we get the opportunity to meet fans. And um,
I have people ask me all the time, why is it that the monsters in the movies, like when they go to the get autographs and stuff, because they're always so nice, the monsters, so like the different Jasons and such. And the way I explain it to him, I said, look, the real job is they're a stuntman. The real job is to protect and take care of the actors and make sure they don't hurt them. So you get gentle giants in this.
that makes sense because
Mhm.
yeah, because you're almost going to hit somebody with something. You're almost going to do something, but you don't.
Mm,
I never thought of that. Plus, if you're looking at the big picture or in long term and thinking, okay, we could make 10, 15, 20 of these movies.
right,
If the same person's going to be playing the villain in all of them, you're going to want to like them because if you
right.
don't, it's going to be really difficult to do it time and time
It's
again.
true.
Yeah, and
It's
Friday the
true.
13th, I guess you get off because there's a mask. You have no idea who's
Right.
behind there. But for Robert
Oh,
England,
the
it
fans
was is a whole
do.
nother situation. Oh, that's
They know
true.
their walk. They know the way. You know
Yeah.
that.
Well,
You
that's
guys know
true.
their walk, the way they move, the
Yeah.
way they swing. You
Yeah, yeah,
guys
we
know.
did. Well, that was another question because I've done a couple Friday the 13th fan films, and
Hmm.
one of them you're sitting there and you're like, no, Jason doesn't walk like that. Sorry, it's like right
Right.
off the bat, you're like, it takes you right out of the moment, the second.
It
The other
does.
one's pretty good, but one of them it just doesn't work. And you've done a
Yeah.
couple Friday the 13th fan films as well. Um,
I have done no Friday the 13th fan films.
on IMDb, you are listed as
Oh, are you
doing.
talking about? I did vocals. I
Oh,
did
okay,
vocals for
okay.
Vincent. That's what it
Okay,
was. Yeah.
okay, all
Yeah,
right,
never
that
had
makes sense. Because
cologne.
I'm sitting
And
there, I'm
if
like,
I'm
I
listed
was,
on any other ones that we answered, we know.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that makes more
Mhm.
sense then. Because yeah, I'm like,
Yep,
wait a minute. I want to make sure my facts are straight. So okay.
yep,
All right. That
yep,
makes
yep,
sense. Okay.
yep. I
All
did
right.
vocals. It was just
Th-
a reporter.
Okay. All right. Yep. Yep. That's what it said. So yeah, something about
Yes,
newscaster or something like that.
yeah,
So okay. Well, that makes more sense then.
right,
So
right.
so since you've done all this stuff, one more question, I promise we'll wrap
Okay.
this up. Um, what haven't you done that you would like to do? Because it seems like you have done everything you've set your mind to do, or you're in the process of doing it. There's got to be something in the back of your mind that you're like, I would have liked to maybe dabbled in that. What is that? What haven't you done?
Well, I'm already dabbling in it. There's a couple things. One, um, I would like to do a romantic comedy, and I would like to do a kind of like some family films. And I have one called My Earthling that I really want to do, a little space
Oh,
movie, alien movie. And the other thing is I've written a children's book called A Caterpillar's Awakening,
oh, nice.
and it's coming out in 2026. And I have an artist doing the illustrations. It's actually a children's chapter book, the old school kind that I grew up with that I love so much, like Stuart Little kind of feel,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love Stuart
And
Little.
where you have the full chapters and parents sit down and read you two or three a night and you
Hmm.
see the
Yeah.
illustrations and you look at the
Yeah.
book and it's like, oh wow, look at that,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a
That's
children's
what I
book,
want
but
to
not
bring back.
just, 7 pages and big pictures. It's a
Yeah, no,
genuine book
book, a
that
real
that kids
book.
that kids get sucked into.
Yes, yes. And so mine's been written. I've won 3 awards so far. I have 2
Nice.
gold medals and a silver. 5 stars for reader's favorite, a gold medal from the Golden Wizard Book Award or Book Prize, and also a gold medal from the International Book Award, which is having a gala this November in Phoenix. And I won for children's literature for inspirational works for children.
What's the premise of the book? I'm extremely curious now.
A little caterpillar is feeling very sad and alone because he feels like nobody in the world, loves him or likes him, and he doesn't have any family because there's nobody around who looks like him. There's this one stupid butterfly, and she's just like really, kind of annoying, always saying really dumb stuff and things, and it's his journey, it's his adventure, basically to find himself. And if you think about it, it's really for every single child out there that has ever had a moment of doubt about who they are, not feeling like they don't quite fit in. And come on, let's face it, is there a child who's never had those feelings? I don't think so. I
Right.
think a
No.
lot of us as adults have those feelings.
Yeah.
And
I think
so,
yeah, I think even like, because if you're the one getting picked on, you don't feel like you fit in. But I think also if you're the one picking on people, you're the one that really doesn't fit in, or you wouldn't be picking on the other people. So yeah.
absolutely, that's 1,000% correct. Absolutely. So that's what, yeah, I love writing children's literature. I really do. It's just, yeah, it's so
How
much
do you have the
fun.
time for all this? I mean, you're doing a lot of stuff
Yeah.
all at the exact same time. I mean, it's got to
Did
be
I mention my book
frustrating.
of poetry? And that's only,
Oh,
and I didn't even tell you about Qigong.
oh,
So
well,
I don't
tell
know
us
what to
about
tell you.
Qigong. Well, tell us. If you got time, tell us. If not, we'll wrap it up. It's up to you.
I
I
don't know if y'all probably don't know a thing about it, but it's from ancient Chinese medicine, and it's the very foundation of Chinese medicine, the ancient Chinese medicine. And it's basically it's very slow, gentle, moving meditations, and I'm certified as a teacher in 2 different traditions, and I'm working on my 3rd certification. And I just love to, honestly, my book is as much about Qigong, even though Qigong is never brought up or anything in it, but I come from a Taoist perspective, which I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but it's just about living in the world and how do I explain it? It's a gentle way of being in the world.
Oh, you're
Just a
freezing up again.
gentle, you know, kind, thoughtful, working within the natural laws of the universe and understanding, and that we're all beautiful, even if maybe sometimes we don't seem to be that. So I love to teach Qigong because it's very good for the physical body, the mental body, and it's about connecting you to you know, the universe, to God, to however you wish to view it, to your mind and your heart and your physical body. So
Wow. Wow. You're beyond the complete package, because I don't think I've ever talked to anybody that's got this many layers. It's got to be frustrating to you, I would think, that you are still most known for something that happened 40 years ago, when you've done all of this stuff, this body of work for all these years,
mhm.
and people call you up and say, "Hey, about that Friday the 13th in, 1985, what can you tell
Not
us you
those
haven't?"
boobs, let's talk.
Yeah.
It
Again,
doesn't honestly frustrate me. I get it. You know, when a millions and millions and millions of eyes had seen you, it's gonna happen, you know. But that's part of Taoism. Go with the flow.
yeah.
It's just how it is.
Oh, John disappeared. I think we just lost
Yeah,
John. He must have
I
lost
think
his
we lost him
connection.
in the,
I think he's lost his connection.
yeah,
Oh well. Anyway, well, I guess Friday the 13th, if it wasn't for that I assume opened up many of the doors that followed, because that's definitely where we knew you from.
right.
So even though, yeah, I guess it's kind of like, Star Wars for Mark Hamill, and if it wasn't for that, yeah, he has to talk about it a lot, but it's opened up, the Joker and all the roles, and
Sure,
exactly.
absolutely,
Well,
exactly.
thank you so much for joining us. I'm
You're
for,
welcome.
for John Horton, who's not here. um, I appreciate you taking the time with us. We extended. I
Mhm.
will call you a liar, however, about one particular thing. You told me you were coming on with a tiara, and I said I was going to have a Burger King crown. So I actually went to Burger King today and picked one up. So so I was going to wear that.
Well,
There
I'm
he
very
is.
sorry. I found out my ball gown was at the dry cleaners, and you can't wear a tiara without the ball gown.
I understand.
I
So
should
no,
have
no,
messaged you though. My heartfelt, I'm sorry.
it's okay. With everything else you told us, we'll let that one faux pas go by. Well, John, since you
Okay.
were gone for a minute, we
Yeah,
decided we're
I
going to
come
have
back
to.
and we're talking about tiaras.
Yeah.
I know.
What the heck?
She wanted to know how fancy the show was, and I said it's very casual. And she said, "Well, I don't do anything with a tiara or without a tiara or a ball gown." And I'm like, "Well, I'll wear a crown then, but it might be Burger King." So I actually went to Burger King and I got their new Halloween crowns, available now at a Burger King near you. And so I was just calling her a liar because she didn't wear her tiara on the
I feel
video.
very bad about it. But as I
I'll
So,
explained, it's not my fault. My ball gown, I didn't realize it was at the dry cleaners. You can't wear a tiara without the ball gown. So,
and
but I
that is
should have
so true.
messaged. I should have
Truer
messaged.
words have never been spoken. So, well, thank
And you
you.
me to the dark. I know.
Yeah, I
So
know. I was like, we have to wrap it up. He disappeared. You're
yeah.
getting in the dark. So, Well, thank you for taking more than twice the amount of time you promised us. We really do appreciate it. We
You
had a great
bet.
time. Let us know when you're going to be in San Antonio for the viewing. We'll definitely go to that showing.
Okay. Yes.
And
In fact, you can go over to it's that event center and they have Michael. He has the oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the name of the event center. I'll
is
send
it
you guys a
Norris?
link to it.
Okay, is it Norris Event
He has
Center,
actually
Freeman?
he has it's a oh gosh, let me think. He's got this huge horror collection, and the Guinness Book of World Records is coming out for his because he has the smallest theater in I don't know if it's in the US or the world, but the smallest theater.
Really?
And we're going to be showing 13 Fanboy and everything. So I'll send you over some info on it.
Yeah, because that's something I'd like to cover. I didn't realize we had that here. So
Yeah, yeah.
I definitely want to check that out. So yeah, send me
And he's going to
anything
be
else.
playing 13 Fanboy on rotation, and then I'm going to come out for a few showings where and do some autographs and stuff for it.
Okay, great. Well, we'll definitely promote that. Anything else you got coming up, just send them to me and
Okay,
we'll definitely talk about it. Thank you
thanks.
again for coming out. All of the links to all of the videos that we can find that she had
Hmm.
mentioned, we'll provide links to in the description. Thank you so much again for coming out. And as I said, later this month, we're going to talk to another star that's celebrating her 40th anniversary. It's Return of the Living Dead. We're going to be speaking with another Tina, Beverly Randolph. So excited to have her on. She's going to talk about a new installment in Return of the Living Dead called Trash's Revenge. We're also going to have a revisit from Ricky Glore, who came on a few months ago to talk about Sweetmeats. He's got two new movies coming out with Eileen Ernest, who you will remember from Sweetmeats as well. So thank you guys. We had a great time. For John Horton, I'm Kyle Pierson, and you've been watching In the Spotlight. I was like, oh fuck, now I look like a goddamn idiot.
My fucking internet went out on me. Son of a fuck.
But for some reason, I turn on a camera and a microphone and it's like, "Bong." Okay.
It ain't that small.
Oh, that's.
I don't know
not
what
I've heard.
Stacy's been saying, but it ain't that
That's
small.
not what I've heard. She's texted me some pictures too, and I'm like, oh my god, what the hell am I looking at here? It's supposed to be like that?
Is that a snail?